information.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Overton. I'm the Dean of Student Affairs. We're really glad that you're here today. Let me start by just giving you a little bit about this session, but actually the whole morning. This session and the morning's programming is really for parents and families and supporters. So if you're a student, glad to have you here. It's perfectly okay that you stay. But I'll also let you know that part of what you're going to hear here is going to be repeated over the course of this first week and a half to you as a student in other activities and programs. So if you want to go out and wander and find where your classes are and go to the resource fair later, I will take no offense. None of us will. So feel free to slip out. Just know that we're not really talking to you. We're really focused on parents and families and supporters this morning. The first thing I want to do is to introduce you to someone important to the campus. Her name is Alexandra Gillespie. She is the professor and also our principal. So she's the person who is most directly overseeing the hiring of great faculty, the offering of great programs, and making sure that we recruit and take care of the best students in Canada here at UTM. So let Alex introduce herself. She couldn't be here today, but she's prepped this for us.
Welcome. I'm Alex Gillespie, Vice President of the University of Toronto and Principal at UT Mississauga. I'm also a parent of 3 kids, and I'm away with them for the last few days before their own school year begins. That's why you're hearing from me via the magic of my phone and not in person. But I will be seeing your students on campus soon, and I can't wait. This is a really special place that has always made me and my family feel welcome, and I hope that we can share the same feeling with you. About 5 minutes from where you're sitting, alongside the campus's eastern edge, there's the Credit River, which has run through this valley for thousands of years. Indigenous communities call it the Misinahi, which means the trusting creek. And we take that name seriously. The same idea of trust runs through everything we do, and it grounds our commitment to you as parents, families, and supporters. We'll work to honour the trust that you and your students can place in us. The best way for us to do that is to support our student success and to share all the opportunities this great university affords. So I'm going to summarise some of those opportunities in 3 ways, which I hope you can then encourage your students to take. I also hope you'll forgive some immodesty in the process, but you should be able to brag about the community your students have joined and take pride in everything you've done to help get them here. The first opportunity is for students to connect with professors and teaching assistants. They help make U of T one of the world's leading universities, #1 in Canada, top 3 among public universities in North America, top 10 among public universities globally. U of T is more productive in the health sciences than Oxford and Cambridge. We are more successful in launching startups than Harvard and Stanford. And we are more sustainable than any other university anywhere. And I promise bragging, so there it is. These are rankings. They reflect the strength of our faculty, who have often discovered the knowledge that they share with students in class. They also assign the strength of our graduate teaching assistants, who are up-and-coming researchers who have started to break new ground in their fields. Students should connect with these people as much as they can. Now, what it means is going to every lecture, lab, and tutorial. It also means visiting office hours, because these are a chance for students to speak with their teachers one-on-one. They can use the time to ask questions about lectures, review feedback on assignments, or continue conversations they started in the tutorial. They can also build relationships that open future opportunities, like the chance to work with a professor on a major research project. Opportunities like this look great on a resume. They're one of the reasons that U of T is North America's top public university for the employability of our graduates. Our new students are going to be learning new things. They're going to change the way that they think. That can be hard, especially because so much else is changing in their lives at the same time. So, alongside you, we have a whole community of supporters here to help them along the way. At the heart of it is our staff, some of whom you'll meet today. They're academic advisors in the registrar's office who help students sort out their requirements. And also help them with
So in the next few minutes, what I'd like to do is just for me to get to know you better and for you all to get to know each other better. And I'm going to do it in a pretty easy, I hope a little bit fun way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify a characteristic. And if you match that characteristic, I just want you to stand up for 4 or 5 seconds and you can just sit back down. If you can't stand up comfortably, just raise your hand. Super simple. I'll prove how simple it is. So if you have never before sent your student off to a university, could you just stand up for a second or just wave your hand? And by the way, it's okay to completely look around and see who else is standing. Great, thank you. So about half the room. Okay, if you have sent someone to university before, could you stand up? Now, it's particularly good to look around now because these folks are the pros. So I think I can bring a little bit to the table, but these folks have done it too. So over the course of breaks and transitions of programs, please talk to them. Thank you. Second, where is your student going to live this year? If your student is moving into residence yesterday or today, could you just stand for a second or two or wave your hand? So about a third of you. How many of you moved in yesterday? How many of you moved in today? Okay, so weather-wise, I think you made the right choice. And then how many of you, your students, probably the rest of you, how many of the rest of you, your student is living with family, with probably you or other family? Just raise your hand. And then how many of your students are living not with you and not in residence, so in some other arrangement? Great. Okay, thank you. And my third question, what area of study is your student focused in on? So let me start with like math or science. So it's things like biology, chemistry, physics, computer science, forensic sciences, psychology, other sciences. Could you stand for just a second? Your student is studying in the maths and sciences. So maybe a quarter to a third. Okay, thank you. How many of your students are going to be studying in arts, humanities, or communication? So that could be English, another language, history, theater, stuff like that. Okay, small slice, but we're glad you're here. And then how many of your students are studying in social sciences or business? So commerce, management, political science, anthropology, accounting, stuff like that. Okay, great, thank you. Now, a little bit of an honesty question. How many of you think that your students really don't know what they want to study, but we made them pick something? Many people, thank you for those who did acknowledge it. I think of the rest of you, it's probably crossed your mind, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a session that's coming just a little bit later. So thank you for putting up with that. What I'm going to do now is let me tease you with a session that's coming up after this next session. So the session after the one that's coming. I'm the host of that session. It's called the Fireside Chat. And like the internet teasing you with things, I promise you in that session, we're going to cover these topics: 5 money-saving tips, how to find out how your student is doing, advice on family finances that might change in a bad way and how we can help. We're going to talk about communicating with your student, why drop-off and pick-up times matter, good ways for shy students to make strong connections, why you shouldn't be surprised if your students' academic interests shift, and that's particularly those of you who were and weren't brave enough to say, not really sure that your student knows exactly what they want to do yet. And then we'll save plenty of time for your questions and concerns as well. So that's what's coming up after this next session that's going to start right